Okay.
Oh,
So
no, LinkedIn isn't.
okay. I just have to close a couple of tabs and then we're gonna start again. So basically what they kind of suggested is that I offset the release date of the game for a couple of years. That's at least what the staff told me regarding the possibility of then modifying the date when I actually want to release it. I didn't know that. Because if you have it set very, very early on, they start to block the date when you can release stuff. So that's one interesting thing. But okay, let me just see what's going on here. Okay, we got this. And regarding the to-do yesterday in the evening, that was very cool. We made the pawn stone and save stone. So it's working, but I kind of think that we have an issue if we're gonna have safe stone somewhere. Huh. Like 2 of them or 3 of them. That means that you can put a lot of gear in the next one, which isn't that bad. Huh. One thing. I think that this feature shouldn't be free. It should charge you something. Yeah. So for example, if you want to transfer over an item, it should charge you something. Definitely. Maybe. The item price and something. That'd be cool. Yeah, maybe how many items you have, then the gold will be calculated somewhere. But how would I display that? There could be a number, numpad. Like, You have to pay it. Nothing comes free. But the payment, now that we think about it, there could be like a screen where this number would be written down. So it would be calculating the stuff, the worth of it, here. And if you have enough money, only then you can transfer it. And it breaks. What do you think, guys? It could work, huh? Because my current concern is that maybe this is too cheap and, you know, that you can basically assign any item to it and then it's transferred over. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see. I'll try to do it and then we'll discuss it. I'll try to implement it first. Because then what we can do is we can also control the price. How expensive should it be to transfer it over? Maybe. If I take this one, it should be probably a bit darker. Or where should I display the total cost? Could it be a tooltip? Because this currently digital design, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of breaking the emergence of the game. So if, for example, you put stuff here, maybe I could have a floating head. Something that's visibly an UI, that it costs, that's cost related. So we could have a floating text like we have floating heads. And then maybe we could have an icon for the gold, and it would be moving up and down. And if you put more stuff on this, you know, it would display, increase the counter. That would be a good idea, I believe. And this makes the possibility Yeah. Let's do it. Can be very generous with the players, because this is in the end the roguelite. We call it Pawn Shrine, Storage Shrine. Here we go. Now Storage Shrine. You're gonna have a special case here. And if I take a look at the pit something, or what is that? Room. Teleporter. Teleport to room. This is the one. Here we have. I have an icon sprite, so it's a normal icon sprite that we tween. And what is this? No, actually it's a texture rect, so let me steal that one. We don't have to save this one. I'm gonna put it down here. And what we're gonna do is a simple thing. This thing is gonna be offset a bit higher. So kind of expect it to be above player. And it's gonna show a HBox container. There we go. Let's move it up. Put this one in. And we position everything to the center. And what I can do now, in this case, is also offset it like that, and we add a label. And let's see, it's gonna say 1000. Something like that. And with this one, I think we have to set the anchors not to the center, but to top center. Okay, just offset it a bit up. And this should display only once we have any items up here. And the icon of this one will change to gold or something. It has to be the same icon that we use in the shop, so I kind of have to remember which one it is. I think it's not that one, definitely not that one. Or coins. Maybe coins. Wait a second, if I go to the player HUD. And let's open the shop version of the inventory. This. So this is which one? UI shop coins. Makes sense. Okay, copying it and stealing it and slapping it in here. There we go. Now we charge for stuff soon. And to make it a bit... I have to add spacing. Team overrides constant separation. Let's put something higher, like 8. That seems good enough. Now this thing is kind of bothering me. Not the expand one, because if this is gonna be dynamic, I always want it to be aligned in the middle, and anchor preset center top doesn't affect it. I mean, if I set it like once or twice or something like that, it's positioned okay, but maybe I should have a container, like a node, control. Okay. And this dude now has to be moved up. And let's say that minimum size of this is going to be 32. 24. Like that. And now, here we do top white. And let's see what's gonna happen if we change the size of this. It's growing well. That's good. So it's always line in the middle and growing well. But let's see, I want to have a background for this thing to be a bit more... How do I handle it? I think I have some action something. Available actions VBox container. Action something. Let me look it up. I know that I slapped something to this, but which scene? Can't really recall it. Here... Oh, I'm just getting stuff. Wait up. Oh, I have children here. This is what I was looking for. So this is input info, and inside I have texture rect and a panel inside the texture rect. And is this keeping the... Yeah, this is the background. Okay. You know what, I'm gonna keep it opened. And here I can slap this one in. And here I believe that I have this position, which I can modify a bit. So right is 56, that's too much. $24. Yeah, problem. It's not expanding, of course. What if I would put this one in here? And the icon is still a bit big, I'd say. Gold coin. That one is too small. This one. This one is the same as in the UI, so this makes sense. But what doesn't make really much sense is that this dude here is not extending its background. Yo, Logan. Morgan. How's it going? I'm just saying that I'm gonna make it payable. If you want to store stuff, you're gonna cough up some gold, you know? That's the new feature I'm adding now. Yesterday I made it, so it's getting destroyed and so on. But this dude is gonna calculate the stuff that you put in. So it's gonna charge you. Okay? It's gonna take the worth of your items and okay, you want to store so much stuff, you're gonna pay up. Around decorators. Okay. You can do it, buddy. But I always have this problem here. With how to extend the background over it. Basically, I need the background to match the size of its content. So one way how this usually could work is that, for example, you have a panel and no, it's not gonna work that way. Thinking about it. Hamster is doing laps now. Because if this is the size of the picture and I have, for example, if I would set the size of the picture to be a bit bigger, it would grow, right? Is this the theory correct? Yeah, the background grows. So that's okay. But now we have the label outside. If I would put it in the picture itself, then I have a problem. Because the panel has to take in account this and this thingy. Okay, what if I try a container? Just a second. If I have a container, let's say margin container. Can margin container have a background? If that's the case, I think we have a lot of things solved. On a piccolo momento. How was the bar, man? Just a meeting or good old buddy and drinking? Yeah? Well, good luck with that. Oh. I just googled it up. I have no clue what the decorators and Pythons are. I didn't use anything like that. Maybe I used it in some frameworks. Probably I did, but not in the Python case. Oh, that's cool, man. That's really cool if you guys are very close. That's nice. Let's copy this one, styles. Well, there is no panel here. Of course. I should probably know, and I probably use them in a framework once or two times, but man, if you ask me, never really used them so many times or wrote custom ones, you know. Okay, we got it like that now. And what's with this dude here? If I set this one to 0. Aha, now it kind of matches it. We're getting somewhere if I put 2. And 2. Okay. We have some margin. But this dude now has to expand. No, not like that. A second. Like that. And now if we write something, I think we got the functionality, but gold should be in first place, like that. I mean, the visuals are okay. Data analysis guy is shitting on object-oriented language and hardware guy shitting on functional language. Hey, in the end everything is just down to that. If it works, it works. Not the best motto, but the one that actually matters the most in the end. Okay, now this is offset how far away? 24. Let's decrease it a bit. So this is now 20. Yeah, let's put it like that. Ah, 16. Here we go. There's something bothering me here. Should I make it a bit darker? Oh, we have an intruder. Just a second. I've been trying to surround myself with course information since the course itself hardly ever refreshes info. Uh-huh. So, which course are you taking this? I know that we talked about it a bit earlier. Like a couple of weeks ago, right? Found some great YouTube channels. Bro code is nice, visually explained, it's fantastic. Boot.dev. Cool. Cool. That's actually really nice. If and they go step by step. That's really good. I just want to see the level one. Aha. I have a full black thing surrounding these things, so I might want to replicate this thing. I'm gonna save this. But here, regarding the panel, if I use the in-game overworld, I have bars, black bars. Oh, that's a bit in your face, isn't it? It covers too much. Woo! Not sure if you hear that. Well, the little mate has some tantrums from time to time. It's the face. We hope. Ah, I can make it smaller, of course. Like that. Okay, and now I'm gonna move the price container on 12. No, that's the size. Minus 68, minus 64. More, like that. Oompa Loompa music too loud. Oh my god, guys, I didn't change anything. Okay, tell me when the music's gonna be okay. I made it a bit quieter. Is that okay now? Okay, hello. Oompa Loompa. Okay, now some of you guys... Okay, I have to put it somewhere in the middle. Like that. Is now okay? Oompa Loompa. I think good enough. I hear the suggestion of music. Are you kidding me? For real? It's so bad. Wait up. You guys have to be trolling me. I think good enough. I hear the suggestion of music. Are you kidding me? For real? It's so bad. Ah, Čreško. Simon. Simon's the troll here. No music. I'm putting music back on. Ay, 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 ay. Like that. Now it's okay? Please confirm then, because I really don't remember what was the tune. I mean, what was the volume? Be nice, guys, be nice. There we go. Now it's okay that he started talking more. Oh my god, I grew up here, you know. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, now we have storage shrine, and we have durability, and it's breakable. Yeah, we have history. He's a IRL friend. I mean, long time friend. He actually lives in the same village as I do, so... Okay, now we have this. What I want to do is... should I have ability to set the coefficient of the price in the shrine? So if I put shrine, pawn shrine here, we have its ability if it's breakable, but I could, for example, say export public bool. Oof. Simon, do you know how big it is? I would say that around probably 2000 peep, something like that. Not more. It's on an outskirt of a bigger town. The town is like 20,000 people, you know. It's a really good place, I would say. I wouldn't change it for anything, you know, in a country like Slovenia. Yeah. I always think to myself, I feel really blessed where I live. I have to tell you that. That's the size of my neighbor. I get you, man. I get you. You guys have everything megalomaniac there, you know. Big sizes. You can't fit enough of X's before you place an L. So... yeah. I don't think if we have anything that would qualify as a city regarding to American standards. Because our capital city, Ljubljana, is like 300,000 people, something like that. A bit more. That's not even a town for you guys, or? Public bull, should I have? Yeah. Charge. Let's say charge for storage. By default, it's gonna be true. And then what we're gonna do here is we also have to override the custom get. Protected override. Void. If I go here in the pawn shrine, no, in the shrine itself. Shrine. And if we go to the custom thing in here. Oh, ready custom. This is the thing that's gonna be overridden. And we have to say base. Ready custom. So the thing that has to happen will happen already. Now the thing that we only need is the price tag. We're gonna call that thing a price tag. Price container. That's good. Price container, and it's a control, and within it we're gonna need the label. Price label. Let's name it appropriately, and this isn't gonna change. So the price label is gonna be also marked as unique, and then we go to price container and price label. Back in the code, we say that public label, we have price label, property, and public control. It's gonna be private. Why do I do it publicly? Private. Control. Price control? Did I have price control? No, it's a price container. Container. Like that, and then in this custom, we're gonna get price container equals to get node control. Like that. Price container. We copy it and say label. Like this. Capital case. And label goes here. So now we have the reference for this, but we have to track somewhere when the item gets added. So we're gonna have a private void update price, and what we're gonna do is, if we have a shrine, somewhere we have items, dropped items. This is the dropped item, right? Let's see, dropped item. That's good, and we say update price. So, do I have a total price? I don't have a total price. I have that calculation in the pawn shrine, not in the storage shrine. Shit. I'm modifying the wrong one. This one should be modified. Storage shrine, not that one. Oopsie daisy. But then this price thingy could also come in handy for the storage shrine, so you actually know how much money you're gonna get. It makes sense, right? It definitely does. Because if you want to sell the things, before you press the sell button, you want to see the total price, the amount you're gonna get. You're not RNGing yourself into madness. So yeah, maybe we can lift this one up. And we can actually move this thing to the shrine itself. Because we're always gonna, probably always gonna put items on it. And it makes sense if we have like possibility to display the worth of all the items that are placed there. So we can go a bit back, and in here, when we start to get the references, I can put this here like that. Okay. This toggle here is good, charge for storage, and then I have charge for... That one doesn't make sense. I'm gonna nuke it. It's gonna be charging anyways. No free stuff. Sell items on shrine. Okay, can item be sold? That's good. Get item selling price. And here we can say, to update the price, we're gonna have int total price equals to okay. Nice, nice. You guys just keep on chatting so I can then read something. Glad to see that somebody's bonding. Yeah, you've been here, Logan. I don't think you ever missed the stream, man. And you were the first one who started watching me on the YouTube channel when I started to stream. Lens of Fury. Definitely. First dude. I know that Simon also watched me, but that was like 8-9 years ago when I was working on Reynard. That was the first time I started to stream. But that's a long time ago. I didn't... It's also interesting. What's the ratio between YouTube viewers and Twitch? I know that Twitch peeps are a bit... If I kind of compare it to Kegs, I believe that I saw that he has like 50-50. 50% come from YouTube and 50% come from Twitch. So YouTube is kind of getting traction in the streaming world, right? At least that's how I feel. Now, let's do this one. This can be also taken in here. Like that. And for each dropped item. If is instance valid. Yeah. Yeah, Twitch is much closer. I also saw it with Triple Jump Games, right? Yesterday when I was watching at his stream, he was answering quite quickly. As I was writing, he could answer immediately. And that's when I noticed, yeah, probably the lag is much smaller. But I like YouTube because, you know, the content there is more permanent, I believe. You have then access to the shorts and all the videos of the channel. And even the community, now that I take a look at it, you have posts and so on. So it's becoming like a place to hang out, which is cool, if you ask me. Because for the Twitch, I believe you only have like streams and some videos. Yeah. And all of the content that I streamed on Twitch, like, it's gone. It's not there anymore, so... It's like, it happened and it went away. So let's say dropped item. If it's instance valid false, then we continue, and else we add total price. Dropped item, item data, resource, gold price. So we say price label text. Here's where we could color this. We could say, okay, if you don't have enough money, we're gonna color you red, and that's another quality. So if we want to color things, then we need a rich text label. We can't depend on the normal label anymore. Let me just take a look. We have Godot here, and this one has to become rich. Rich text label. This one. Enable this. But what's with this? Why doesn't it want to grow? Fit content? What is that? Huh. I don't have anything set here like a custom minimum size, but this one grows normally. Okay, what if I write something more here? No. Fit content. Doesn't do anything. Auto wrap. Word off. No. Scroll active. No. Fit content. No. Horizontal alignment. Context menu enabled. No, no, no. What's with this? Okay, if I set fill, it starts to fill the remaining content, but that's not what I look for. Oh, interesting. Well, setting minimum size to this would be kind of weird. But we can go with it anyway. So if I vertical align it to center, it's centered. And what if I have something smaller? Like that. So we would say like 100, 5,000, 10,000, 100,000. That's not gonna happen. But it's okay. What do you guys say? Is this good enough? Or I align it to the right rather. So I always know that... yeah, of course, you know. Of course, of course. I mean, you know, if I have to handle you... can't expect anything bigger, Simon. How is the schedule? Well, the schedule is crazy if you ask me. I'll be probably doing the night streams as well. I mean, not night streams, but evening streams. So, you know what that means. Boys gotta crank up the speed, like a lot. And I hope I will. We have to succeed. But the Steam suggested that I offset the release date a couple of years in the front because the thing is, if you set it too early, then you can't manually change it anymore once you reach a deadline. Somewhere close to the deadline, so that's what I've taken into account. Working double time, yes. And hoping that the balance of life work will be still okay, kind of. You know, during the afternoons I really want to hang out with my little one. That's the top priority. But in the evenings, yeah, definitely if day goes to sleep and so on, I'm gonna work. Let's do it like that. Good enough, because when you're gonna sell, maybe you're gonna have something for 50. Kind of okay. But it really pisses me off because this thing is growing as it wants to grow. That's how it should be. But that thing is not growing. This one, like... auto wrap. If I set it to off or anything else, it just doesn't want to grow. Huh. Let me Google it up. Rich text Godot not growing. By its parent's container, size flags or layout anchors. Well, I had this one to set on, fit content. Guys, I had this set on, but it didn't grow. Why? Because of the minimum size? Because earlier I didn't have minimum size set up. Is that possible? What if I set minimum size to like 8? And now? Yeah, I think this is the best way. We fixed it, kind of. So let's say it's gonna cost you 10,000 bucks. Looks good. Looks good. Perfect. Maybe I can even lower the minimum size. Okay, and maybe this one can also be lowered down. Do I have a minimum size here somewhere? Not this one. What about this one? Also not really. 35. What is hogging the size? This one panel maybe. Layout also not. Okay, so if I, for example, set 1. Price container, of course, this one. And if I set it on 24. 24. Oh, it's offsetting it, isn't it? Make it good enough and stop wasting your time here for so long. Because these are just cosmetics. And I'll definitely tweak them 1,000 times again. Okay, I'm settling with this for now. Let me check the chat, just a second. Just make your little one a playtester and then you can work and be with family. Exactly. Uh-huh, exactly. There we go. Now, if we take this into account, we have update price. Here we say this label now becomes rich text or something like that. Rich text label. Good. And here we start getting this one. And in the update, when we have text, we set it to total price, to string, like that. And now we just want to do a comparison. So for example, I gotta get players' money. Where do I get the money from? I have to kind of recall it. Now either I get it from the profile, run resources, no, profile resource, gold, no, run profile. That's petty gold, gold collected, gold spent. No, this is just for stats. Coin controller, what do I have here? No, this is for distributing the stuff regarding the awards. Okay, winner inventory system gold value. So I get it directly from this thing. So what we gotta do is we gotta get the player. And we won't be doing lookups every time. So what we can do is actually say player unit. Like that, and then in the ready custom, this gets triggered after. So player unit equals to global game controller players. Unit, no, player 0, the first one, and unit. We go down, F, this instance, valid. This has to be true every time. But if player unit, unit data, resource gold, is more or equal than total price, we're gonna just color it red. We don't need the green one, but we say that this one is gonna be colored normally, and this dude, if I try to recall this. Hello there! Hi, Mystic Serpent. How's it going? And here with the total price, I believe that we have somewhere BB. BBC code, no. BB code. BB code, BB code, BB code. It's a markdown, I use it somewhere, but I can't recall where. I believe that in companion skills, something like that. Companion stats, modal skill stat UI, something like that. Color tags are somewhere used. Here we go. So we have a negative color in the colors resource, and we're gonna just take then this thingy here. Enjoying morning coffee, that's the best part of the day probably. When caffeine starts to kick in, right? I have love-hate relationship with that thing. Try to get myself off of it, like a lot of times, but you know how it goes. Sirens, they call you back. Dun, 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 dun. So what is this? I have this here. Equal sign is missing. Color. Then we do the plus mumbo jumbo. And this comes from the global game controller. And we have config. And this, wow, that's a sausage. And plus total price to string, and plus something like that. And then we just have to close up the color, I believe. And we should be good to go. Now the total price is gonna become red or negative if we don't have enough money. If we do, we don't do anything. Alrighty, now this update price has to update itself always when we put a new item on it. So we handle the item detection on activator on shrine area entered. This thingy here. Okay. But we also have to control the visibility of this thing. What I'm doing, actually, look at this. So the game is basically gonna have like different shrines. Let's see if I can build it. Maybe I have some errors, it's not gonna build now, or is it? So basically the game itself will have shrines where you can place stuff down and do things. This is a forge shrine. If you put the recipe things in here and if they match the recipe you can forge a new item. Then we have a pawn shrine. The things that you drop here are gonna sell for gold, so you can buy new stuff from the merchant. And this is a storage system. Maybe the pouch is a bit wrong, maybe we should have a chest, but for now it's working. And the storage system, basically what it allows you is that when you go to take a new run before you die, you can place an item here and store it. So when you're gonna start the new thing, you're gonna start it with those items that you stored. And yeah, that's basically the thing. That kind of gives you a bit more motivation to start again, you know, you have some items and so on. But basically the game here is top-down roguelite, ARPG. You have bandits and so on, different factions fighting from time to time, arenas, and customizable skill trees and so on. So let me just kill a couple of those guys. Try to find a rune. Where is the storage? Aha, this is the shrine where it appears. It doesn't have a good outline and the price isn't still wired up, so that's one thing. But for example, now we've collected the rune, and if we collect enough of fury, we can execute the fury attack, which is like this, boom. It deals a bit more damage, and some items allow you to have more runes equipped. The runes have affinity based on item type, and so on. But basically this is it. You have a companion, which is quite an important part. I think she died. Let's go get her. Aha. She has problem of resurrecting because the enemy companions are here. I mean enemies. There we go. Come on, guys, die. Die. Dryad, come back. She's back. She healed herself. I guess she ate a sausage. But what you can do is, actually you can command your companion, so I can move her there, tell her attack, move there, and start destroying stuff. Or you can tell her, okay, you're gonna guard this place, and then she's gonna move around a little bit, you know, and stay here while you go out and scout, and maybe you go kite somebody. Oh, this didn't appear for a very long time. The dude spawned in here. This is a merchant, it shouldn't happen like that. For example, here we have fireball rune. And here we have now a pawn system working. So I can try to sell... Or maybe let's try to craft something else. Let's see what materials we can get. Dino ore, and... let's see if we can get some sticks again. No, we have honey. More nails. I wonder if I put this here, if it's gonna change. No, it didn't change. So it's still not wired correctly. Well, this is exactly what we're working on now. But For example, what can I do? I believe I can create a nail mine. So if I put nails, dino ore, and crafting stone down, first it's gonna create a normal mine. And then if I go press again, we have a nail mine. And if some sad soul steps on it, it's gonna get blown to smithereens. And of course we can level up Lilith. Let's make her heal. And let's create Vitality Bond. Yeah, no, let's make Vitality Bond first and increase her support stat. Let's go here. And let's make her follow us. Okay, she's bonded to us and we get her HP regen. How's inventory system? Is it drag and drop? Actually no, it's not drag and drop, because the problem is if you make a drag and drop system, it's a bit different if you want to handle it in the with the controller itself. So it's a click and drop. Click, drop, click, drop. So basically I can emulate the same movement and interactions on the controller. I press the button, I pick it up and put it down, you know. That's why I went with this system. I was thinking about these style of tile sets, but then was like, well, enemies has collision smaller than their size. These sidewall tiles, as they immediately show top floor enemies, kind of draw over them in many games, so I will try to figure out tiled wall to... I understand. Basically Zelda type or Binding of Isaac. It has also similar ones, right? I went with these and I've added shader for silhouette. It was quite tricky to set it up, but it kind of works. I even made the silhouette colors different for different player teams. So enemies have more red silhouette and so on. Okay, let's fight a bit and then we're gonna start working back again. So this is, for example, an arena. And I think that Lilith is OP. See, she's bonded to me. And if we level her up, we're gonna make her summon the Treant. Oh, let's use the mine. It's best to use the mine if you have a lot of enemies around you. And we could buy probably Horned Helmet. No, not enough money. What about Poison Bow? This one is cheap enough. So we could deal more range damage now. Okay. So far so good. Max leveled up now. Lilith, my girl. We have 5. Still a little bit of XP needed. I just want to show you how she summons things. Probably broken, but maybe not. She doesn't have enough mana. And I believe I'm gonna die. Yep. They got me. Back to work, back to work, back to work. So we saw that thing didn't work. It didn't update anything regarding the price. And that's okay. Because this thing should be called somewhere here. And I didn't look at the errors. I know that there were some errors. This is... Unable to cast object of type Godot label to Godot rich text label. Okay. Of course. Silly person. I'm gonna delete this one. Rename this one. Make it unique, like that. And... price container has to become basically the base thing now. Aha, 45 degree styles. Cool. If you have something visible, feel free to share the screenshots, man. So the price container is here. Now I'm gonna just stuff it back into Pawn Shrine and here. This time I try to avoid the inheritance with the scenes because I have some bad experience with it. In Godot's case. But we need the one for the base one as well. Like that. And what I'll do is... I'll handle the visibility. How long have I been working on this? Too long, dude. Too long, too long. It's been a multiple years project. The thing is that it started out as a hobby, like the side game I would work on when I work on a full-time job. And for full-time I was working on it, I believe, a year and a half. And before that, probably the same amount, just for hobby. Yeah, I'm using C#. Because my background was in game development with Unity. And man, I just feel that there are many more benefits in C# than in GDScript. You know, in the language style. And I'm glad that Godot kind of enables you. It's still... It feels like it's treated like a second-class citizen, but man, I wouldn't change it for anything. I know that they're gonna make a plugin, like GD extension, for the C#, so it's not gonna be... in the core of the game engine, if I make sense. Because through GD extension, if I believe correctly, it's gonna have even less marshalling or stuff like that. We'll see. Don't take me for the word here. But yeah, never changing C#. And I use GDScript. It's cool and everything, but still, man. You know, old habits die hard. What are the benefits? Well, first benefit is that I like using external code editor. That's one thing, and the native things that you don't handle on the engine side. Operations are faster. So, for example, if you have to loop through some stuff, operations in the C# itself are much faster, I'd say. But as soon as you have to make engine calls, you have marshalling to pay, and that's where GDScript is actually faster than C#. So that's one downside. And I like the C syntax itself. Camel case, capital case, I mean camel case, you know. And not dealing with indentations. I like brackets, man. Kind of. Also, you can use libraries that are like third-party libraries from Nuggets and so on. You can do a lot of stuff outside the engine with C# if you know it. You're not learning basically a thing that's specific for the engine only. You make yourself more... how should I say? You're building a knowledge that can be used outside of the engine itself as well. I mean, language, you know. So, and besides that, I was already developing C# long before I went to Godot. So, yeah. And it's also cool, man, you can communicate with the libraries that they have written in the GD script without any bigger problems between C# back and forth. I mean, you pay some performance regarding the price. But that's it. Yeah. Well, in the end it has to work. That's it. And if you don't have performance issues, man, why the hell would you even do something, you know? That way. But refactoring, I believe it's also faster here. I know that GDScript relies a lot on a lot of things on strings, if I'm not mistaken. I know that they had issues with typed stuff. Now they support types and so on. Then they, for example, don't have interfaces. Sometimes I like to use interfaces. You have all sorts of workarounds regarding those things, but you know, why would I use workarounds if I can use something that supports it? Yeah, make it work, learn new syntax. Of course, why not? Okay, now this update price is here on Shrine entered. Let's see if these things are gonna trigger. Okay, I can disable this one and start here. Yeah, it's also a possibility, right? Rust, you have something like GD Rust, or I'm not sure what the project is called. It's cool. That's cool. Do you use maybe a Bevy or something like that? I was looking at it for a while, but I know that learning Rust would take some time, definitely. Definitely. Let's see if I place this thing down here. Okay, the breakpoint triggered. So it wants to update this, and this time we fix the references, and it says that we don't have enough money. Perfect. 150, we don't have it. Now when we remove it, we also have to remove this and probably hide it. Like for example, if total price is 0, let's say we can return earlier, and we can just say that, what's this thing called? Some kind of a container. Container. Price container, visible false. That works as well. Because we want this to be invisible by default, and only when it's visible it should be displayed, and maybe we could make it tween a bit. So we know that this isn't on the ground, it's floating in the air. Because that kind of would suck. So we have teleporter, 2 room something. I never used Python language before, so GDScript feels neat. Cool. It's my own engine, it wraps around the C game library, which I also maintain. Wow. Rust isn't an engine, Rust is a programming language that's very close to Metal, I would say. That's why it's called Rust. If we take a look at this, it's very fast, man. Wow, Siege Lord, you have to have a lot of experience with that. I was kind of fancying with the idea of trying out Raylib. You have a lot of bindings to it, right? I'd use that. And try to work with some kind of a entity component system, but... yeah, right. It's not a popular opinion, but I think that it's a wasted resource of developers for... not gonna call it wasted resource, but a lot of things could be improved elsewhere in the engine if they wouldn't have to maintain a whole programming language just for that special case, if I make sense. And I don't want to be rude about anything. That's just my opinion. Now here we have somewhere a tween. We're gonna tween it. So we're looking for companion or teleport to room. And tween. Danger enter. What is that? I have these tweens here. And this one is weird. Let's go up. Let's call this one a private one. Label tween. Call it label tween. Like that. And we're gonna make a private function that's gonna start doing that in the beginning already. No matter what, it's gonna be working on it in the background. Private void tween price. Okay. And here we have label tween. I always forget the syntax for this thing. Create tween, I know that. But then I always go back to the old thing that I use somewhere else. Not this one. Up and down. This one was too complicated. I used another tween somewhere else. What if I have floating combat text? Here, and the tween that I used here is actually a simpler one. What do I do here? I just copy and paste it. Set parallel. This is also scaling stuff we don't need to scale, we're just gonna keep moving up and moving down. Label tween. Set loops, and I believe 0 is infinite number, right? Huh, but how do I make you go up and then down? I did this already somewhere. Position to places. Let's go here. Private. Target label vector 2. Target label position. It's gonna be a static thing. We could say that it's gonna be... Huh. You know what? Vector 2. Target label position. This one's gonna be starting label position. I'm gonna move it up. If I go a bit lower, I'll say this. Starting label position equals to price container global position. Oh, I have to take price label, don't I? Just a second, if I'm gonna move... no, price container, that's good. So, this thing is is gonna be moving up and down. Like that, for a couple pixels only. So price container is okay. We need its position. But we're gonna rename it then correctly. And ending. Or what did I call it? Target label position. And this one's gonna be new vector 2. And we're gonna move it up for like 8 pixels maybe. And 0 on 0 on axis and -8. That's half a tile on y-axis. Oh. Okay, let me read a bit chat. At least Unreal Engine has blueprints which are visual and sometimes easier for non-programmers. But yeah, okay. Man, I tried to look at the blueprints a couple of times and I was like, how the hell? I mean, it's much more easier to write things down, you know, in the text from top to bottom, than try to summon a whole demon, you know, from the visual nodes and everything. At least that's my position. It's really weird for me to code in a visual way. Then I only started accidentally coding. Wanted to be a just designer. Dude, everything is cool. It's cool that you learn. I made a lot of games for game jams. Exactly. Oh, chat is good today. I agree with that, Logan. You're forced to use Unreal for work? Ooh. I also think that, yeah, writing definitely feels easier for me at least. One thing that I liked kind of, that I preferred to see visually was definitely when I was working with Unity behavior trees. That thing was very nice to design visually. Like you had nodes and they go from left to right and you could easily debug when something gets triggered and so on. But with this game I went with utility AI and I'm pretty satisfied, guys. I just have like a debug text above the unit and I have percentage chances how they get triggered. And it's my own system that I coded together by myself and it works okay for all the enemies. So for example, if I show you... which one should I show you? Let's say a bandit. I have a bandit which has its own AI and it's just an array of actions. I have a couple of attack actions. You know, you guys won't understand this probably a lot because it was made for me, but I have an action where I have a consideration. So these things have to pass before even this action is considered to be triggered. And then I also have priority of this action. So, you know, if I have a higher priority of action, that one is gonna get executed sooner than the other one. And with this basic system that I have here, for example, I say I'm gonna use the bandit's shield, but the consideration that I have to pass is if I can use this item with this ID and it's not on cooldown and so on. And the second consideration has to be that I have to detect the enemy within my perception system. And then I could also say not my perception system, I could say squad context, player context. It has to be in line of sight. I can apply additional checks for the distance, how far it has to be, how close it has to be, and tons of other things. It took me quite a while to create everything, but I used the same AI thing for the companions. And it's pretty powerful and modular, I have to say. It's cool. It's really cool. And one of the cool things that I added is, for example, I could have a possibility that I put an AI action on the item itself. So If an AI would see a dropped item, I could say, okay, you can pick that item up. But you know, you don't know how to use if it's a healing item, if it's a sword or something like that. So the item itself can hold the behavior, how it's being used and so on. Yeah. Yeah, pretty much simplified thing, you know, for me, but I'm very happy because the irony is, I mean, not the irony, but the thing, this project started out that I wanted to play, you know, simulate a bit life. Like I would have different NPCs having their needs, gather around stuff, fight each other. If they don't have enough health, they would flee. This actually kind of works. For example, I have bears in the game, and I believe that player isn't gonna notice that, but if you take a look at the bear, if I didn't change this, but I had somewhere this, explore, or, yeah, patrol in circular radius. This behavior only starts to take in if the bear itself is hungry or thirsty, you know. Exactly. So for example, bears don't go around, but every unit, again, it's not visible, you won't notice it ever, but it's the legacy thing. Every unit has hunger, thirst and mating needs. So for example, I had bunnies mating each other. You know, and I've added bunnies just for fun. For example, because if you have bandits in the camp, you know, they were gonna go around and so on. But if suddenly a bunny from player 3 runs by, they start chasing it and everything starts moving and there's more life to it. No genetics, man, no genetics, but I would do it. I'll do it. You know, if I would go with that route, I'd definitely go with the genetics way. Like you would have basic stats, and then if they would mate, they would get each other's traits and so on. That was somewhere in there, planned long time ago. No. Actually, I made some limitations that things that spawn from the dens, they don't spawn multiple times anymore. And I believe that I also coded somewhere limitations. Oh god, I have to remember what's this called. I have config, resource. So I didn't want the bunny population to get too high. So I made some things. Oh, but... default unit limitations config resource, this thing here. And this is where I actually made a limitation, for example, that you can't have more than 100 animals at the same time. So even if they would want to mate, they couldn't increase the population of everything. That's how I wanted to control everything back in the day. And max units per unit ID, so yeah. These were the limits that I applied. First I checked the limit regarding the unit ID. So for example, maximum number of amount of bunnies that can be is 5. Then from all animals is 100 and so on, but I didn't tweak these values yet too much. But yeah, no infinite spawns in terms of farms, you know. You wanna kill a shiny bunny, huh? I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something with bunnies. I have a character for that. You're gonna murder bunnies, you're gonna get a bunny wizard that's gonna chase you and beat the crap out of you. I have somewhere the sprite for that. I planned it. This one. This is gonna be the dude. So you kill all the bunnies. Somewhere in the caverns, this dude is gonna come. You know what? For all my fallen bunnies. Yeah. Okay. If we go forward... I lost my train of thought, guys. Okay, yeah, tween. Here we go. Tween. Set trans. Yes. Quint out. Tween property, global position, position to place. So that's target position, right? Duration. I should also probably lift this one up. Tween duration. Private float tween duration. Let's say it's gonna be 1 second for now. And this is tweening the global position, which is okay, but then we have to make... I'm not sure, is this going synchronously? I believe it is. It goes first that way and then it's gonna go back down. And then we add starting label position. And the scale isn't gonna be tweened. But the thing is that we have to start this at the beginning. So we go here, up here. Let's slap it up here. And that's good. And by default, the price itself is gonna be invisible. Maybe some things are gonna have price on. Huh. Wait up. If we have shrine, price container invisible, that's okay. Storage shrine also invisible. And we have a pawn shrine. Boom. We get a bit lower. The update price is being called when we put the thing on there. Tween price is being called then. Do I have visible somewhere set to false? Price container visible equals to false. Oh, second. Back. Well, that was that was interesting. Having a teenager is a pleasant experience, I'd say. And a lot of times tantrums, you know, regarding the washing the hands. You have to wash your hands. No! Oh, Logan, I missed you too. I missed all of you. And those tantrums are, you know, it's kind of... For him, it's a whole world, you know, but for you, it's a common sense. You have to wash your hands if you're painting something and you have them dirty. And yeah, now there was a conversation, why you have to do it, yeah, so on. So, any of you guys parent already? Okay, gold, total price like that, that's okay. Tween. Now the tween has been set, if I'm not mistaken. The tween itself is this. And it's being set in the beginning, that's okay. You're allergic to kids. Oh no. Well, good if you understand that, if you figure that out for yourself. I mean, I wouldn't appreciate anybody being allergic to kids and having kids, you know. That's a bad combo. So we have tween price. And here we have can use shrine, that's okay. Going through everything. But regarding the visibility, update price. I have to do a thing or two here because this thing is gonna update the price also in this case. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this public bool show price, show dropped price like that. We're gonna have it true or false by default. And in here we have this. Actually, it comes only from here, right? If this, like that, this goes in here. Like this. Now we have to build it and set it on the stream. I mean, on the export. Real talk though, I just got out of being a gymnastics coach for maybe 8 years, and that was more than enough to convince me that I'm not willing to deal with that 24/7. Well, we call this a profession deformation, deformation, right? I believe you, man. I believe you. And by gymnastics coach, I kinda believe girls? Or? I don't know, when I hear gymnastics I always think about that females are more or less in gymnastics. So that's also a bit different, I say. Or mixed. So pawn shrine, so dropped items price. We can do that. Men's coach. So what did boys do? Were they misbehaving? Wow. Women's side of my gym had around 2,000 to the men's side 200. Wow. That's a heavily tilted toward women. Okay, now we display kind of prices. And... you know what could come in handy? Price modifier. Huh. But price modifier could come from the unit stat. We'll see, Let's play a bit. See what's going on. If everything's works or it's gonna blow up. Young boys are the worst, closely followed by older girls. Oh. Well, guys. Kids, in this economy, you shouldn't care so much about the economy. Oh my god, I tweened this thing here. You know, in the end, if you look at any third world country, they don't ever have issues with having kids. That's one thing. If you look at every migrant that comes here, they always have a big family. That's the other thing. So, I know it's really not okay that the situation isn't favorable in having families, but still, you know, I try to view my personal perspective on it is in a way like, you know, you're not immortal for a reason, and if you kind of want to pass on your genetics, you have to deal with parenting and so on. I saw that. I saw Idiocracy, yes, definitely. I saw it. It's a great movie, man. You don't seem like that, dude. You don't seem like that. Ah, this global position, so this is a problem here. Label tween. I have to change this one to this one. Let's try it again, and I think we have to set the loop. Label tween, set repeat, or loop mode, set loops. What is that? Set loops to 1. Sets the number blah 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 will be repeated infinitely. Okay, like that. Okay, I'm gonna start it again. What about love though? Love in this economy? Oh, come on. Logan, now you're trolling. Of course, migrants have big families. Our country favors them more than us. By the way, you had a kid before everything became so messed up. Ha! You know, you guys don't even know what you're missing out on. As soon as my kid was born, I was like, I can create my own people. You get a god complex and everything. Joking. Oh, Mr. Godot crashed. Babies equals easy, love equals hard. Well... well, it's true. If you take a look at all the oldest people around. So... call me a hard worker then, as I sit here unemployed, no kid, 4 AM on Twitch. Oh man. But you worked. You worked. You said you were a coach. You're just in the face. Okay, we have this. Well, I think that's kind of enjoying life, you know. If you don't have an existential crisis that you can afford to do that, that's nice, you know. I mean, I wouldn't change this thing that I'm doing now for anything. If I would be able to hang out with you guys, talk and so on, and if I would make money with this enough for a living and supporting me, that'd be great. But I'm dealing with a lot of stress because now the family is dependent on me, and, you know, the fumes are starting to show up. That's the biggest problem. And I know that probably this is the last month of my life when I can work on this like that. And then after that, everything falls apart and I have to grab something for real, and I'm not gonna ever return to this thing here. So, with a smile on one side of my face and the tears on the other from my eyes, that's how I currently perceive everything, you know. Say it ain't so, of course. Okay, now this thing didn't work well. I said the tween, but for the love of God, label tween. I wanted to tween the tween. Now see guys, this isn't good. I have to tween the price container. Why didn't anybody correct me? There we go. Let's see what's going on now. I knew what a tween was. I would have called it. Basically, I could explain a tween like... Well, the price isn't showing up now. This is the first problem we have. The tween is like when you try to animate stuff from the code itself. You don't need a whole animation player. You just try to write a simple line of code and then the animation will start from that. So for example, I'm tweening the property. Wait a second. I'm tweening the property of a price container global position up. So I want it to go up within this duration. Up and then down. And up and down. That's the thing what I'm doing now. Currently at least. And I'm trying to set it to infinitely repeat. And then at the end I click play. That's it. Yeah, I see the pattern. I see the pattern definitely. Just a second. Oh, I got a problem here. Show dropped items price. Do I have this enabled somewhere, or did I... Yeah, I have it enabled. What the hell? Okay. Okay, just a second. I saved it, right? I have everything here saved. Do I? Storage shrine, if I take a look at this here. It is, and it's breakable. You guys just think that. You know, once you're forced into something... if you're forced into something... survival kicks in. This one is here. Tween price, but the visibility is set to false. Total price is 0. What the hell, am I gonna have to debug it again? Let's see. This one goes here, here. But the tween itself. Maybe it's tweening it somewhere super far away. Target label position is now also wrong, probably. So this could be a problem as well, because I'm getting the one... No, it's price container global position in this one. Huh. Yeah, I'm gonna set the breakpoints here, and yeah, let's try to run it through the Visual Studio Code and debug it step by step. Yeah. Nobody forced you to do Humpty Dumpty. You guys telling jokes. Jokesters. Okay, moving this one on the side. Wait a minute. The tween didn't trigger. Okay. Now it says show dropped item price. It should go to the update price. I don't set the visible to false. To true anywhere. Ay. Visible equals to true. I believe I found a place where we could be messing up stuff. Yeah, but then when I was looking at documentaries, they said, yeah, that the people who lived longest didn't have any families or even partners. The oldest man didn't have women in his life. So, that's also an interesting thing. There was that sketch somewhere. That they compared the longest lasting marriages. You know, the earliest marriage divorces are with lesbians, then it's with mixed couples, and the last one is with gays, you know. And then the comedian said, do you know what gay means? It means happy. So yeah, that one was a funny one. There we go, now this passed. Let's see if the things pass here as well. Oh, it tweened up and it tweened down. Okay, it's tweening something, so we have a progress here. But because this is a pawn shop, I don't want to recolor anything here. I just have to say a price and make it a bit less obvious that it moves so much up and down. Maybe make a darker background. It's moving up and down. Up and down, and up and down. Okay, so far so good. Now if I try to modify the storage shrine as we go. Well, it didn't modify it now. Live. Huh. I believe it should be linear. So I'm gonna remove that comment and I'm gonna make it move up and down only for 4 pixels. Not -8. That's too much if you ask me. Or if it would be a bit slower. We'll see, I'm gonna restart it and now I have to think about this. Um, coloring of this thing. I could make a constant function and then based on that also do some stuff. The appropriate coloring. Maybe. Oh, we could make a protected and say we're gonna return string get or get decorated price text, and we pass in the string. And this is gonna be virtual. And by default we're just gonna return text. And then these conditions will live in each implementation of the shrine itself. We're gonna override it. Just a second. Yeah, the music picked up. I feel pressed now. Full price, that's okay. Now, then we're gonna finally say here that price text. What piece is this? It's Final Fantasy X Bossa Nova Remix. Check this out. I kind of believe that I don't get any copy strikes for now because these are some kind of fan-made remixes and so on. So I'm not sure if the algo actually recognizes them. But I kind of like it. I can give you the link. I love Bossa Nova. That's probably the thing that me and my mother-in-law have in common. She also likes it. One day we had to shovel dirt and I put the Bossa Nova on and we were shoveling like madmen. Yeah, I agree. Price label, the text equals to get decorated price text, and this is gonna pass in now. What? Total price only. Converted to string, total price to string. And now the logic is gonna be only living in there. And this is the shrine, and the storage shrine has to have this implemented. So we say protected, override. Override. You know what, I'm gonna dump this here. And we have string get decorated text, I believe it was, and it took in string text, and we just put this in there. Okay, now we have a problem that the price label text is being set here, so we just have to remove the strings. I mean, return them. Like that. Hey. I can't get any logic in here, huh? I don't have the params for that. I should put in price. Un piccolo momento. So, get decorated price text. So, string is let's put an integer. Price. Return back price. 2 string. Like that. And this one can be removed now. Now we have the ability to control the things that happen with the price. And decorated price text. Integer price. Yeah, this is just price now. And here I change this one, which is okay. This is for storage shrine. This else is obsolete now. Or then by default we have this here like that. Yes, for storage shrine we have to have it like that. Then for pawn shop, pawn shrine, we don't override it, we just use the default, which is okay. Now, let's see if it's gonna work. Here we go, first one. Drop in 150. It's a bit too choppy. It's a bit too choppy and we have to lift. You know what, I have to make the same movement probably similarly like here. I like how the dropped item moves up and down. This one feels too choppy. Huh. And the other thing that is bothering me is that on the wrong sorting layer, I believe. So, visibility. Ordering, here we go. The index storage shrine. See, this is where the pain starts to get, because I don't inherit from the same scene. That I have to redo these things, but I know that management of the animations could be pain in the butt here. Well, we'll see. That's one thing, and the price container here as well. Probably will have to redo it in the end. Again. But I want to see what's with the dropped item. Because this one has such a nicer tween. No choppiness, no anything. Aha. Set ease in out. That one is better here. If I go to shrine. This one. So I'm setting the ease at the end. And also I'm moving for 8 pixels as well. But okay, that one is lower. But I'm using a bigger duration for the tweeting itself, so it's not choppy. Let's make it 2. And -4, -8. Let's try with -6. I wonder if I pick it up. Also one thing, if we pick up stuff, we don't update the price. So the shrine. On shrine area exited. This one. well. And the box is drawn behind the bush. Exactly, yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. I think that the box will be fixed now because I've increased the sorting order. I tried to see the changes real time, but the problem was that I'm actually running the build through code, Visual Studio Code, not Godot itself. So it wasn't connected. But if I go here, it's in front of the bush. But it's still choppy as hell. Why are you choppy? Because there's no way. I mean, look at the smoothness down here. How smoothly it travels up and down. And if I take it, there's nothing more here. 250. That's how much I would have to pay to store it. Makes sense? I think it's quite good, huh? Otherwise the interface. Maybe we have to change a bit the brightness of this color red. It seems a bit dark. But otherwise, I think that people will understand. Oh my god, how did I... Aha! I still have to implement the storing itself. But it's a good thing. Oh, come on, again.